Welcome to the Administrator's Instructional video for DPAS II. This video is a companion to the printed guide for administrators. It provides an additional tool for learning the Delaware Performance Appraisal System too. Ideally, the video should be watched with your DPAS II printed guide open for reference and note-taking. There are several ways to access the video, but it's best to load it onto your own computer, either from the DPAS II website or the DVD. Note that the videos are divided into short chapters so that individual topics can be viewed without searching through the whole video. To watch a video, click on the link to the video you want. The player will automatically open on your computer screen in either Windows Media Player or Apple QuickTime. There are slight differences between the player controls depending on whether you use QuickTime or Windows Media Player, but both have the same features. You can control the video with the play, pause, rewind, and fast forward buttons. Sliding the button on the progress bar moves you quickly to specific places in the video. The player time clock helps you mark a place if you want to review it later. Just note the time in your guide. To help you find your place in the guide, at the bottom of the video screen, guide page numbers are referenced, especially when there is additional material to view in the guide. That's it for the nuts and bolts. Let's move on to the subject matter. This video has two main sections, the components overview and the specific activities, including completion of forms and conferences. The purpose of DPAS II includes three central concepts: professional development, continuous improvement, and quality assurance. DPAS II for administrators includes all licensed and certified administrators who oversee instruction. A district or charter school has the option to use or modify DPAS II with non-instructional administrators. Administrators are categorized as either inexperienced or experienced. An inexperienced administrator has less than 3 years' experience in a given administrative role. An experienced administrator has 3 or more years of experience in the given administrative role. The frequency of appraisal and other activities differ for each category. Those differences will be explored later in the program. DPAS II's design was driven by the Delaware Administrator Standards and the ISLIC Standards, found on page 4 of your guide. They align the evaluation of school and district administrators with student learning and school improvement. The 5 components used to measure administrators' progress and success are vision and goals, culture of learning, management, professional responsibilities, and student improvement. These components are interlinked throughout the DPAS II process to measure progress and success in a manageable way. We will begin with an overview of these 5 elements, then look in more detail at the specific steps required to accomplish them. Component 1 is vision and goals. Component 1 aligns directly with ISLIC Standard 1, a vision of learning, and focuses on implementing and promoting the vision and goals of the school and district. These goals should align with existing school success plans and improvement plans. 4 criteria are used to evaluate Component 1: assessing data, implementing vision and goals, promoting vision and goals, and communicating the vision and goals. In assessing data, the administrator, in collaboration with others, uses multiple information sources to analyze data and establish student improvement goals. For implementing vision and goals, the administrator provides leadership for major initiatives and change efforts and shows commitment to do the work required to achieve student improvement goals. For promoting vision and goals, the administrator promotes high expectations for teaching and learning and shows commitment to student improvement and future educational goals. In communicating the vision and goals, The administrator communicates effectively to appropriate stakeholders about progress toward meeting school or district improvement plan goals. Component 1 is assessed through 3 data sources: a review of the evidence provided by the administrator, conferences between the evaluator and the administrator, and the use of the Administrator Standards Survey Form. Evidence used in the assessment can include emails and memos to staff, parent newsletters, meeting agendas, descriptions of procedures and processes. Component 2 is Culture of Learning. Component 2 aligns directly with ISLIC Standard 2, School Culture. It focuses on the administrator's influence in advocating, nurturing, and sustaining a school and/or district culture and instructional program conducive to student learning and staff professional development. The 4 criteria used to evaluate Component 2 are advocating a culture of learning, monitoring the culture of learning, sustaining the culture of learning, and maintaining the culture of learning. For advocating a culture of learning, the administrator provides leadership for assessing, developing, and improving and articulating the school or district culture and instructional program. The administrator shows evidence of how he or she reinforces the instructional program. In monitoring the culture of learning, the administrator monitors and evaluates the effectiveness of the curriculum, instruction, and assessment. The administrator evaluates staff, coaches for improvement, and uses a variety of sources of information to make decisions. For sustaining the culture of learning, the administrator encourages opportunities for staff professional development. The administrator is approachable and accessible and supports the use of technology in teaching and learning. In maintaining the culture of learning, the administrator recognizes the positive accomplishments of staff and students. The administrator uses data to instill the importance of developing programs and strategies that enhance learning. The data for assessment for Component 2 includes a review of the evidence provided by the administrator, conferences between the evaluator and administrator, and use of the Administrator Standards Survey Form. Possible sources of evidence for Component 2 include faculty and student handbooks, a professional development schedule, meeting agendas, emails and memos to staff, and parent newsletters. Component 3 is Management. Component 3 aligns directly with ISLIC Standard 3, the Management of Learning. Due to an increasing focus on instructional leadership, administrators are transitioning from their traditional role of educational manager to instructional leader. However, it is still essential that their organization be managed as a safe, efficient, and effective learning environment. The focus for this section is management of the school or district to support student learning and to build a culture that encourages and supports student learning. The 4 criteria used to evaluate Component 3 are solving problems or concerns, managing resources, complying with policies, and protecting the welfare and safety of students and staff. With solving problems or concerns, the administrator addresses and resolves issues as they arise in a timely manner and works to prevent potential problems. Operational procedures are managed to maximize opportunities for all. In managing resources, the administrator manages fiscal and physical resources responsibly. The administrator protects instructional time by managing operational procedures to maximize learning. The administrator efficiently manages his or her time so that teaching and learning are a high priority. In complying with policies, the administrator complies with federal, state, and board policies, including the correct implementation of DPAS II. Contractual agreements are effectively managed, and the administrator maintains the confidentiality and privacy of school or district records and information. Protecting the welfare and safety of students and staff requires the administrator to ensure a safe and secure school or district environment and a culture that is conducive to teaching and learning. Challenges that could interrupt teaching and learning are addressed and resolved. Component 3 is assessed through a review of evidence provided by the administrator. This is obtained through conferences between the evaluator and the administrator, and the use of the Administrator Standards Survey. There are many areas of assessment in this management component, including security plans, scheduling, proper evaluation, and more. See Guide page 11 for a more complete list. Guide page 12 includes possible sources of evidence used in the assessment process. Component 4 is professional responsibilities. Component 4 aligns with ISLIC Standards 4, 5, and 6, family and community, ethics, and societal context. Professional responsibilities focuses on the administrator's interaction with staff and the community. It is concerned with fairness, consistency, and a strong commitment to continuous professional growth. The 4 criteria used to evaluate professional responsibilities are maintaining professional relationships, promoting family and community involvement, demonstrating fairness, and growing and developing professionally. In maintaining professional relationships, the administrator maintains positive professional relationships with staff. The administrator respects others' opinions and shows an appreciation for diversity. In promoting family and community involvement, the administrator works to establish a culture that encourages and welcomes families and community members. For demonstrating fairness, the administrator is fair and consistent when dealing with students and staff. He or she demonstrates values, beliefs, and attitudes that inspire students and staff to higher levels of performance. For growing and developing professionally, the administrator chooses and participates in professional development that is aligned with his or her professional needs or aligned with the needs of the school and/or district. Some evidence for the appraisal of Component 4 is derived from a professional responsibilities form completed by the administrator. Inexperienced and other administrators are on a 1-year appraisal cycle and complete the form in January of each year or on a date set by the district. The experienced administrator, whose performance is satisfactory, may be on a 2-year cycle and completes the professional responsibilities form in year 1 of the appraisal cycle. It is important to note that additional information may be added to the professional responsibilities form at any time prior to the summative evaluation. Additional evidence provided by the administrator, such as parent newsletters and professional development plans, plus conferences and the Administrator Standards Survey, will be used to assess performance on Component 4. See Guide page 14 for more possible sources of evidence for professional responsibilities. Component 5 is student improvement. DPAS II, following the state statute, requires that a portion of the administrator's appraisal be based on measures of student improvement. Achievement and improvement in 3 broad areas should be the basis of this part of the evaluation. They are school accountability, state accountability tests, and other measures of student achievement, such as SAT and AP tests. Multiple results from these tests should be analyzed regarding overall levels of performance and subgroup performance. Although school and district-level student performance data are woven into other components of DPAS II, Component 5 focuses on the use of the data. The 4 criteria used to evaluate student improvement are showing student improvement, measuring student improvement, implementing strategies for student improvement, and reflecting on student improvement. With showing student improvement, the administrator uses school or district goals from the school or district improvement process to set his or her personal annual data-driven goal or goals for student learning. The data could include school or district accountability data, state assessment data, or other assessment data. In measuring student improvement, The administrator has specific, measurable evidence to show progress towards or attainment of the goal or goals for student improvement. With implementing strategies for student improvement, the administrator designs and implements appropriate strategies to show progress towards or attainment of the goal or goals for student improvement. In reflecting on student improvement, the administrator reflects on the goal-setting process and outcomes for continuous professional improvement. He or she shares student improvement information as appropriate. The evidence for Component 5 is comprised of a review of the administrator's progress toward attaining the goals established at the beginning of the cycle, as provided to the evaluator on the goal-setting form, Parts 1 and 2, and an analysis of the data associated with the goals. In this component, the administrator will be judged on the measures of student performance and the progress made by students. The administrator will also be assessed on how the data are used to inform the administrator's goal setting and how the administrator communicates those data to the staff. Possible sources of evidence for assessment of student improvement include state assessment results and many other assessment results. A more complete list can be found on Guide page 16. Section 2, the Process section, covers the specific activities required by DPAS II and how they are scheduled. On page 17 of your guide, there is an overview of the specific activities of the process. We will explore these in detail in this section. See page 18 for a graphic illustrating the appraisal cycle. The time periods are suggestions. Refer to the guide for specific language regarding when any part of this process must be completed. DPAS II is a continuous process of professional improvement, which may entail a 1 or 2 year cycle. The frequency of the appraisal process depends on whether an administrator is classified as inexperienced or experienced. Inexperienced administrators and experienced administrators whose performance appraisals state needs improvement or unsatisfactory must participate in an annual appraisal cycle. Their conferences will typically occur 3 times over the 1-year evaluation cycle. Experienced administrators whose performance is satisfactory may be appraised over a 2-year period. Their conferences will typically occur at least 4 times over the 2-year evaluation cycle. See Guide pages 19 and 20 for more details on the differences between the 2 administrator categories. We suggest that you pause your video now and carefully review them. There are 5 categories of activities in DPAS II for administrators. They include administrative goal setting, formative activities, professional responsibilities reporting, the Delaware Administrator Standards Survey, and summative evaluation. The first category is administrator goal setting. Setting goals for student improvement is an important part of every educator's work. Clear, measurable goals provide a roadmap for staff, teachers, and students. The first activity is the goal-setting conference. This will generally occur in July or August to facilitate planning for the upcoming school year. Evaluators should meet with newly hired administrators as soon as possible after their employment. During the goal-setting conference, the evaluator and administrator agree on who will be asked to complete the Administrator Standards Survey form. In the summer of the evaluation cycle, the evaluator and the administrator meet to discuss student improvement. Each party brings data that will inform the process of establishing performance goals and the criteria for defining success. Those data may include, but are not limited to, school accountability data, state assessment online scores, district-administered tests, longitudinal studies, and scores of external tests. See Guide page 23 for a list of these and other data sources. The second activity in goal setting is completing the Administrator Goal Form, Part 1. The administrator completes the individual goal form and submits it to the evaluator within 15 working days of the goal-setting conference. New administrators complete the goal form within 1 month of employment. The third goal-setting activity is completing the goal form, Part 2. To complete this form, the administrator compiles evidence of performance throughout the school year in all component areas. The administrator documents progress on individual goals and delivers it to the evaluator prior to the summative conference. The second category is formative activities. Formative activities consist of the formative conference and completion of the formative feedback form. All 5 DPAS II components are addressed. The formative conference is held in midwinter to discuss progress toward goals and other issues of interest or concern. The second activity is completion of the formative feedback form. The formative feedback form is used to record the content of conferences and note any goals or performance expectations agreed upon. Other pertinent information should be included. Following the conference, the evaluator completes a formative feedback form and forwards it to the administrator within 15 working days of the conference. The third category is professional responsibilities reporting. Key areas evaluated in professional responsibilities reporting are maintenance of professional relationships with staff and demonstration of sensitivity to diversity with the school and community. Working collaboratively with staff, faculty, and families and community, and encouraging family and community involvement. Dealing fairly and consistently with the school community, and engagement in goal-aligned professional development activities. The first activity is completion of the professional responsibilities form. The administrator completes the professional responsibilities form and delivers it to the evaluator by January 31st. Additional information may be added to it any time prior to the summative conference. The fourth category is the Delaware Administrator Standards Survey, which is captured using the Standards Survey form. This section provides an opportunity for educators supervised by the administrator to assess the administrator. It also lets the administrator self-assess performance on those standards. The evaluator also completes the survey on the administrator. For building-level administrators, all professional employees in a building who are directly supervised by the administrator will be asked to complete the survey. For district-level administrators, during the goal-setting conference, the evaluator and the district administrator will agree on those professional employees who will be asked to complete the survey for the district administrator. The process goes like this. The administrator completes a self-assessment using the Administrator Standard Survey form. The evaluator completes the Administrator Standard Survey form on the administrator. Staff selected by the administrator complete the survey electronically. This is a confidential survey. Data are collected and aggregated by an online survey service. The aggregated results are forwarded to the evaluator. No participant will have access to individual results. Those required or selected to take the survey will receive an email asking them to complete the survey online and submit it to the online survey company. A blank survey form is included on guide pages 37 through 39 to show the types of questions that will be presented in the online version. The evaluator will use the results from the 3 sources for discussion with the administrator and in completing the summative evaluation. Any negative score must be accompanied by a narrative explanation. Scores that fall outside the normal range and do not triangulate with the scores from other sources should be viewed with caution by the evaluator. The 5th category is the summative evaluation. The summative evaluation covers all 5 components of DPAS II for administrators. It considers all the forms completed by both the administrator and the evaluator over the course of the evaluation cycle. It includes the content of conferences held during the evaluation cycle. And finally, it includes the results of the Administrator Standards Survey form. The first activity in the summative evaluation is the summative conference. Inexperienced and experienced administrators follow slightly different processes. The key steps for the inexperienced group are: the administrator and evaluator meet for the goal-setting conference in July or August. The administrator completes the goal-setting form within 15 days of the conference. The administrator and evaluator meet for a formative conference at least once, generally in December, to discuss progress towards goals and issues or concerns. The evaluator completes the formative feedback form and forwards it to the administrator within 15 days of the formative conference. The administrator completes the professional responsibilities form by the end of January. Additional information may be added prior to the summative conference. It is recommended that by March 15th, the evaluator, the administrator, and designated professional staff complete the Administrator Standard Survey form. The administrator documents progress on individual goals and completes Part 2 of the Individual Goal Form, which is delivered to the evaluator prior to the summative conference. The summative conference is held at the end of the cycle, in the summer between June and August. All of the documents, evidence, and discussions which took place during the cycle may become part of the summative evaluation. Within 15 days, the evaluator completes the summative evaluation form and forwards it to the administrator. The summative conference sets the stage for the development of goals for the ensuing year. Key steps in the experienced evaluator process are: the goal-setting form is completed annually. Goals for the second year of the cycle are developed as a result of the conference to review progress on the goals made in the first year. This conference generally takes place during the summer. The formative feedback conference takes place annually, generally in December. Progress toward goals and other issues or concerns are discussed. The evaluator completes the formative feedback form and forwards it to the administrator within 15 days of the formative conference. The administrator completes the professional responsibilities form only once during the 2-year cycle. It may be added to at any time prior to the summative conference. The evaluator, the administrator, and designated professional staff complete the Administrator Standard Survey form each year. A summative conference takes place during the summer of the second year of the appraisal cycle. All of the documents, evidence, and discussions which took place during the cycle may become part of the summative evaluation. The evaluator completes the summative evaluation form and forwards it to the administrator within 15 days of the conference. The summative conference sets the stage for the development of goals for the upcoming year. The second activity in the summative evaluation is completing the summative evaluation form. This form provides written feedback about the performance of the administrator related to all 5 DPAS II components. It is a written record of the conversations which took place during the summative conference. All of the evidence submitted, as well as all conferences, written documents, and forms generated during the evaluation cycle, may be considered when completing the summative form. It includes the evaluator's ratings of the administrator's performance on each component of DPAS II and an overall rating of the administrator's performance. Each of the 5 components of DPAS II for administrators is weighted equally and assigned a rating of satisfactory or unsatisfactory on the summative evaluation. Satisfactory indicates that the administrator demonstrates acceptable performance by meeting at least 3 of the 4 criteria outlined for a component. Unsatisfactory indicates that the administrator demonstrates unacceptable performance on 2 or more of the 4 criteria outlined for a component. The summative evaluation includes 1 of 3 overall ratings: effective, needs improvement, or ineffective. See guide pages 32 and 33 for details about how each rating is calculated, including a result of a pattern of ineffective administration. An improvement plan is required for an administrator who receives an overall rating of needs improvement or ineffective. Pages 34 and 35 include specific details regarding this process. A challenge process is also available for administrators who wish to challenge the ratings process or the conclusions of the formative process. This completes the DPAS II instructional video for administrators. Remember, this video is available online and can be downloaded to any computer for personal review. The entire printed DPAS II guide for administrators is also available online for viewing or printing. The materials may be updated as requirements and regulations adjust for current educational conditions and trends. For more information on professional development opportunities and support, contact your local district or the Delaware Department of Education. We wish you the greatest success in your learning community and are happy to assist your efforts toward professional development, continuous improvement, and quality assurance in Delaware public education.